Welcome back to the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar Podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Elyachar, the chief content producer and writer of jakestake.com, a pop culture entertainment news website. It's episode 92, and today I have a really cool guest. For soap fans, you might know him as Troy Winston from Days of Our Lives and Damian Blackwell from The Bay. For moviegoers, you might know him as Dash from the new film Break Even. He's also, for video game players and NBA fans, this is exciting. He was the face and character of Jonas Beil from the NBA 2K20 video game, and he has over 24,000 Instagram followers. So please help me welcome Erik Fellows.
First of all, that intro was amazing. I have to give that to you. That was a good intro. You have a good intro voice. I like it. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome, Erik. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to talk with me today. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate having me.
All right. So when did you get started interested in acting, and how did that passion evolve into desire to pursue a career in the entertainment industry?
That is a good question. I answer it pretty often. I'm trying to see. I can give a really good twist take on this one. Actually, to be honest with you, I kind of fell into it. I sort of fell into the business. It wasn't something I grew up dreaming or had a passion for, to be an actor. I was a basketball player. And very, very cool that I ended up being in a video game playing basketball, especially a game I grew up playing, which was really cool. But I was a basketball player. I played basketball ever since I was 8. I played high school ball, and I was going to play overseas in Italy after my senior year. But unfortunately, it took a turn because I got injured and I tore my ankle going into my senior year. So I still had I was still in a position to still go play over there. But unfortunately, my life kind of took like a diverted angle, and I looked at going, okay, well, what else do I want to do with my life? I didn't know, because I spent so much time as a child, my childhood and my teenage years, playing basketball. All I did was play basketball. I loved the game so much. I thought I was really going to go play in the NBA. Unfortunately, I didn't grow too tall, so 5'10", that's not tall enough really normally to be in the NBA. But I was a really good baller, and it just took a sidestep in my life, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And at that particular time, I was 19 years old, and a girl that I was dating at the time, she was babysitting a little kid, and the mom came to pick him up. I hadn't spoke to her really. I said hi and bye a few times, but she came up to me once she picked up her child and said, "Hey, have you ever thought about modeling?" And I said, "Model what? What am I modeling?" She goes, "Oh, like a male model, like print and catalog." And I said, "Oh, me and my friends, we don't talk about stuff like that. We play sports." Like, it wasn't like in high school. I was actually taking a drama class, and I ended up quitting it because I was like, I'm not saying these lines. This is ridiculous. I'm not doing Shakespeare. I'm not doing any of this. I had no interest in it. I love movies and I love TV shows. I just never saw myself living in Hollywood, being an actor in movies and TV shows. So I ended up taking up this offer. She said, "Let me introduce you to my kid's agent. He does adults." They were located in Georgetown, D.C. She goes, "You have a great look for modeling and maybe doing commercials and TV." And I said, "Okay." It's pretty much what happened. She introduced me to the agent. I ended up taking a meeting. They ended up signing me a long time ago. And I ended up starting doing modeling stuff, local stuff, ads and catalog stuff in D.C. I met a now longtime friend at a fashion show, and she had been modeling for years before, since she was a younger teenager, because we were still teenagers, late teens. And she said, "Hey, if you're gonna take this to the next level, or if this is what you want to do for a while, we should go to New York." So I went to New York, met with agencies, ended up moving to New York. And basically during that process, I signed with an agency, a smaller agency at the time. So I was trying to get with a bigger agency, but I kept getting from same sort of like feedback. "Oh, you're kind of short to be a model," or "You look too commercial to be a model." And then I ended up basically going to a casting with a fashion stylist who had his own magazine, and he used to be a judge on America's Top Model. He ended up saying, "What agency are you with again?" I have connections to these other agencies. I said, "I've already been to those agencies. They keep turning me down." And he goes, "Let's shave your head." literally what happened. So he literally took out clippers, shaved my head at the casting.
Wow.
Back to all of the agencies that I had meetings with that turned me down. And not one of them acted like they've ever met me before. Each one of them, I think pretty much all of them offered me to sign with them. And then I ended up signing a particular agency back then that at that point was one of the top agencies. And that's how the modeling sort of started for me. And then I was started to take acting classes during a time. People that have me say, you have more of a personality also to be an actor. You should look into that. And I'm like, okay. So I started studying. And the next thing I know, the agency that I had signed with modeling wise had, very strong contacts with bigger theatrical agencies. It's a lot of it's who you know in this business, as you know. And so they set up a meeting with innovative artists. I ended up signing with an innovative artist. And then I was working a little bit for the few months before September 11th happened. And then I visited LA the July before. I ended up getting agencies here when I was ready to come. But September 11th happened. It was a scary time for all of us. And I ended up moving back home to Maryland, where I'm from originally. And then I went to LA October 10th, 2001. And then that's kind of how it started. And the transition into acting kind of started at that point.
So almost 20 years in Los Angeles. That's incredible.
It's a long time. Nobody guessed my age. And if it's out there, don't tell anyone.
All right. I'm not going to say that age.
No,
however, what I'm going to give you is, because I did my research, and guys, to let you know that Erik was first cast as love interest for several big major names in the music industry. I'm talking about Jennifer Lopez. I'm talking about Katharine McPhee, Lindsay Lohan, Dido, OAR. So you were cast as love interest for those. So were you worried about being typecasted because of all those music videos?
Well, I never thought about that point of it. I guess I'd see, I was a big fan of music in general and music videos. And, to think that people that I got the chance to work with, I'm very grateful for. I never thought that I would be working with J-Lo, or even, back then it was like Lindsay Lohan, because that was her first music video ever, Rumors. And I don't know, it just became, I became this like repetitive music video guy. But I didn't think about it being like kind of a cast type as that, because I didn't even know if there was a cast type for music video love interest. And now when I think about it, it kind of makes sense. I was just like, whoa, I got this music video. Whoa, I got that music video. The first one I ever got cast in was Dido. Was the song Standing in My Shoes. Was the first video I ever got cast for. But initially, before that, I was actually cast in a Britney Spears music video, My Prerogative, but it ended up not working out.
Wow.
Yeah,
that would have been amazing.
Yeah, I know. But the following week, I actually booked Lindsay Lohan. So it was like literally, I think within like a week's period, I ended up booking the Rumors video. And I was just like, Lindsay Lohan sings? I didn't even know I thought, she's a young, actress. She was like, blowing up at that time. So yeah, I guess it was like, oh, okay, well, it didn't work out with Britney, so I got Lindsay. So that was really cool. And then, I don't know, I started booking music videos for like a handful of years. So, I mean, it's so funny that most people, like when we discuss my career, even for Break Even that just came out, we did a virtual event for all the fans, a launch party, since we couldn't do red carpet because of everything going on. They showed little clips from our past of the main four actors of what you would remember them from. And like out of the stuff that I've done, it's so funny. They're like, but we did something different. For Erik, we showed like a montage of my music videos. And I just thought it was really funny. I'm like, oh God, because we have a surprise, Erik, or for Dash. What do you think it is, Erik? I actually don't know. I was like, what did you guys do? And then they started playing my music videos and I started laughing. I'm like, oh my God. So yeah, it was incredible. I mean, working with J-Lo, obviously she's J-Lo. So that was very surreal. And I've never really been starstruck. I've worked with a lot of different people in my life. And even at that point, I've worked with some really big people. But working with her, the first initial meeting with her was like, oh my God, this is J-Lo. It was interesting. And then I actually shot J-Lo and Katharine McPhee the same week. I shot Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I shot J-Lo. And then Thursday, Friday, I shot Katharine McPhee. And it was funny because when I worked with Katharine, she's like, wait, did I just hear that you just worked with J-Lo yesterday? And I'm like, yeah. And she was like starstruck. And it was just like a random I don't know. It's the whole thing is very interesting to me.
Well, I could call it an American Idol sandwich.
You get called what?
You could call it an American Idol because you worked with one judge
Yeah.
and then one finalist.
I didn't even think about that. Oh my, duh. I didn't even think about that. That's cool.
All right.
I like that. American sandwich.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So Eric, because you are the very first guest on this podcast to have been a part of the soap opera community. So you before Troy ever, and you are the very first guest to do that. So cool. You portrayed Troy Wilson on Days of Our Lives, and now you currently portray Damian Blackwell on series and you are series regular on Amazon's Bay. Which, by the way, congratulations, a decade.
I know, it's crazy. We're all like, oh my God, how's it been that long? And it has. But we're like a family. We've been working together. And also I worked with a handful of people when I was on Days that are on the Bay. They kind of like, come in and come out. So we've all known each other for a very long time. So it's really cool. And we're all very appreciative of Gregory creating the show a long time ago and putting the show together the way he has with the cast that he has. He's put together a very, very large spectrum of actors from different areas of the, prime time, soaps, movies, stars, you name it, they're part of the show. And they've done a really good job kind of navigating that. So it's been pretty cool.
Awesome. So what are some of the comparisons? I want to compare Troy and I want to compare Damian. So what are some of the similarities and differences between both those characters?
Well, Troy was kind of a bad guy. He was, he worked for like the head honcho on the show. Well, I had a few different bosses on the show. Initially, it was John Aniston, which is Jennifer Aniston's father. He was my boss on the show initially because Troy Winston was like the middleman drug dealer guy who was kind of moving, pushing the stuff. And then I worked opposite to Lindsay Hartley. She played Ariana Hernandez. So she was kind of like my boss in between the big boss. So he was a bad guy, but I try to play him as charming as possible. So, never play a villain too evil because you have to be likable. You have to have the fans, want you back every week. So the comparison for Damian initially was kind of a bad boy. He also, he was like a club going kind of like drug enthused type of character who kind of got and did whatever he wanted until he had a turning for the good side because he had a near-death experience with situations and he ended up having to have a liver transplant. It's this whole very soap opera sort of understanding. So he turns for the good, but initially the two characters were, I wouldn't say too similar in ways, but they both were kind of like in kind of like the bad boy sort of like understanding, where now Damian is like kind of like this really good guy. He's very relationship oriented. My girlfriend on the show is Alicia Willis, awesome actress, very good friend of mine. I played initially my girlfriend on the show was Jade Harlow, another fantastic actress. She plays Liana. So the boyfriend that I was to Liana is very different than the boyfriend that I am to Alicia or to Avery, who played by Alicia. Getting all the names mixed up. So the comparisons are similar in the bad boy way, but also now very different because I've taken the turn for good. And being more that voice of reason, lovable sort of guy.
And that's good to hear, Eric. That's really good to hear. So since you've been in the industry for so long, so what have been some of the challenges that you faced throughout your career and how did you overcome those obstacles?
Challenges are being told no a lot. I don't know too many actors that haven't been told no a lot. Even when you have early success, you somehow hit a wall of no's, or you're just not right, or something's just not fitting for this, or you just did great, but next time, or maybe they think you're horrible. I don't know, but there is lots. The challenging part is taking rejection. I think any actor or anyone in the entertainment business, and I mean from athletics to TV, film, musicians, you name it, broadcast, you name it, being told no is not easy. And if you're told no consistently, I mean, there's some of us that creates a hunger inside of us that want to achieve the goals and prove to not only yourself, but to prove to the people that told you no, that you can still do it. That has been, I mean, the obstacles initially, because I wasn't interested in acting in any of that stuff. So this was like a new world for me, going into being judged by your looks and judged by your personality, and one ear is different than the other. You know what I mean? Like, you got to take those no's and try to not internalize it so much to where it's all about, oh my God, they hate me so much. Like, what's wrong with me? Because that can start to mix you up, psychologically. And it's just trying to overcome the negative and turn it into a positive. And truth be told, only the strong survive. And that literally is a quote that I think will go to the end of days, because it's the truth.
100% agree with you. I definitely want to agree with you 100%. I've been told so many times for jobs, for podcast guests, it's been, okay, got to move on.
It's tough, but you don't give up, do you?
Absolutely. This is episode 92. We're 8 more till 100.
That's my point. I heard you say 92 and I was like, wow, that's really impressive. You should be proud of yourself.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Eric. So, and here's what I appreciate about your work, because you work with a lot of industry legends: Cloris Leachman, Diane Ladd, James Brolin, Peter Falk, which a lot of actors from our generation are like, really? You worked with all them?
And Val Kilmer.
Oh, and Val Kilmer too. Sorry about that, Mr. Kilmer.
No. That was the one I was most excited about when I had the chance to work with them. It was incredible.
So what were some of the lessons that you learned from all of those incredible actors to help you grow in your craft?
Well, the main thing is when I found out that I got to work, when I got cast in the movie by a very good close friend of mine now, the director at the time, I have a handful of movies that have come out with this director now, but also I'll tell you about the next movie after that. His name is Mark David. I want to really give him the respect that he deserves. And he had told me after that movie, American Cowslip is the name of the film with all the legends, I want to make you a lead in my movies one day. You're going to be a star. And he stuck by his words. He literally has stuck by his words. And we've become very close friends. He's one of my best friends. So he gave me that opportunity. So the one thing is, to your question, besides those actors, the trust that needs to come in, you have to allow into other people. It's tough to trust people in this business. And I trusted him, and he's a good person. He's a great person, and he stuck by his words. And we both give each other 100% of everything that we do. We produce stuff down together and stuff like that. So I just have to give a shout out to Mark David. Thank you. And also, as far as working with those actors, I mean, these kids these days, some of them, the kids won't even know who those people are. And the crazy part is, growing up for me, obviously Iceman, which is Val Kilmer, when I found out that I was going to be working alongside with Val and having scenes with Val, that to me was like, are you serious? Is this really happening? 'Cause that's a big deal to me. I mean, people always ask me, well, how's Val? How is he? We heard he's different. Is he kind of strange? He was super cool. He was super cool to me. He was, it was an amazing experience, because I remember when we wrapped, he came over to me and he said, great job, man. And hearing that from Val Kilmer was like, and I was at the time, I think I was only like 26 or 27. And I was like, and that was the first time I'd ever been opposite on screen to that big of a star. I mean, I'd worked on, some TV stuff, Gary Sinise and stuff like that on guest stars, on guest spots, but I never worked with anyone theatrically on that level. You know what I mean? I've done modeling stuff and commercial stuff and music videos with big stars, but never where I had to like exchange dialogue and make it believable, and especially a dark comedy. Not easy to do. So that to me really kind of reassured me, you're in the right path, Eric. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's pretty cool coming from Mr. Kilmer.
Yes, and he's not one to maybe do that too often. I don't know, because I've heard so many different things, but I had a pleasant experience with him. It was Peter Falk's last film he ever did. The fact that I got to do scenes with Peter Falk, Columbo, was a very big deal, especially for my parents as well. That was a big deal. I bet your parents were really overjoyed. I mean, they were. And they were just like, wow, because when the way we looked at it was like, I'm going to go give this a shot. and see what happens. You know what I mean? It was like the fact that when I started working with people at that level, and then, you know, working opposite Cloris Leachman, she's a wild one. She was great. I mean, she was fantastic. I've worked with Lynn Shay now multiple times. Lynn Shay is amazing. She's in my other film. She plays the mob boss opposite, played the lead character of Peter Franklin in a movie called Texas Heart that's been out for a few years. She was awesome in that. I got to work with her on that. She beats my butt in American Cowslip. I mean, she like literally decks me in the face in the movie. It's hilarious. So that was the first time I got to work with Magda from Something About Mary. You've got Bruce Dern. I mean, you've got Diane Ladd. You've got so many freaking actors in this film. Even a younger actor. I was the second youngest at that particular time. The first youngest was an actor by the name of Boo Boo Stewart.
From Descendants.
Yes. So he was in it. So at that time, I think he was like 14 or 13. So it's crazy. Time has flown. But yeah, I mean, it was incredible. And actually, the biggest, most recently, you know, I had a movie come out last year called Being Rose with Sybil Shepherd and James Brolin. And I play Sybil's son. And that was pretty surreal for me because especially for my mom with James Brolin and my dad, but Sybil Shepherd for my dad for sure. And me and Sybil have actually become very good friends. She doesn't live too far from me. We've hung out multiple times and had dinners and became very close, almost like family since Being Rose. And she got to play my mom, and I never pictured that happening. So I've had some moments where I'm just like, wow, to sit back and go in. I never expected these moments, and I'm very grateful that they've happened.
And that's incredible, especially, I want to say hello, Ms. Shepherd. So nice to meet you if she's watching or listening to the podcast.
Well, I'll tell you what, if she's not, I'll send it to her. So either way, she'll see it.
Nice to meet you.
She's amazing. She's an amazing woman.
Totally. And especially a legend in film and television.
Oh yeah. She's an icon. So we hopefully we get to work together again. I mean, we're friends for sure, so we talk all the time. But you know, hopefully maybe a role will come along and we'll be able to do it again.
That'd be awesome to see you two reunite.
Yes, I agree. I agree with you. All
right, let's head into the video game world, shall we?
Okay.
So you had the opportunity to book the role of Jonas Beil in the NBA 2K20 video game franchise. So what does it mean for you to go from, you've done films, you've done television, you've done music video, and now you're being featured in a video game?
Well, for me, it was a huge deal because I played basketball growing up, and I was such a big basketball fan and player that was surreal. And I kind of came up playing this game. And the fact that playing this game since like it first came out, which is like in the early 2000s, I was already living in LA. I mean, I had been playing like NBA Live and NBA 2K. I think I got into late 90s, actually. I can't remember exactly when the game came out, but I've been playing the game the whole time. So the fact is I ended up being a player in the game and then playing in a scene, because within the storyline in the game, that Scottie Pippen's in my scene, and I grew up one of the biggest Michael Jordan fans there are, and a Bulls fan, and the fact that Scottie Pippen is in the scene with me, that was super surreal. And the craziest part about that is Scottie's youngest kid, plays on my stepson's basketball team. They go to the same school. And I was
a crazy coincidence.
I was always scared to say hi to Scottie, sitting on the same like sidelines, and my family, my girl's dad would be like, "Hey, say hi to him." I'm like, "I'm too scared," but I'm not scared to talk to anybody because I'm working with a lot of people. But I'm like, I'm not saying hi to Scottie Pippen. I'm so nervous because I grew up such a big Bulls fan, and my girl actually didn't tell me, but she told Scottie when she went to go pick up Sebastian, my stepson, at school one time. She's like, "Oh, by the way, my guy is going to be playing, or he has a booked a role in your video game that you're going to be doing 2K20. You're in the same scene as him, but don't tell him I told you." So when the director, who's a friend of mine, ended up introducing me and Scottie, he's like, "Oh yeah, I remember your girl told me one day after school that you'd be doing the game with me." It was so random, and I was just like, it was wild, man. So that was extremely surreal. It was one of the more surreal things because of my basketball background. And then playing the game so much, never thought I'd be in the game. I mean, Idris Elba's in the game, Rosario Dawson's in the game. Like there's a lot of bigger stars in the game. It was very surreal.
And those are very big, heavy hitters that you just mentioned right there.
Yeah.
But however, I got to say, it must have meant a lot to you especially with that legendary team, the legendary Bulls team.
Yeah, it was a big deal to me. And my friend who directed, who actually, who's the one who actually got me the audition, his name's Sheldon Candace. He's very an up and coming director who's done very well. He directed a movie a few years back called Love with Common. Did really well at Sundance. He gave me the opportunity, so I have to thank him for that especially. But he made like a little joke. He said, "Hey, yo, Scotty," because I didn't even mention this. I used to have a Michael Jordan tattoo on my arm.
Really?
Yeah. I got it when I was 14. I had it lasered off in my early 30s because it was just time to let go. But yeah, it's completely gone. You can't see it. But literally, if you look up young pictures of me when I was modeling and stuff, you'll see a Jordan tattoo. It was the Jumpman. And he told Scotty, Eric, you said Jumpman on his arm. He goes, what? And I met Scotty. He goes, Michael would like to know that. That's awesome. And it was just interesting. I was so nervous. I was like, but my friend kind of like put me on the spot, but it was funny. It was really funny. So it was really cool.
And that's really cool. But however, we got to get to break even.
Okay. Yep.
Your film was released. You played Dash.
Yep.
And so can you please tell my audience about the film? And then also, could you describe Dash to them as well? Because is it similar to Troy? Is it similar to Damian? Is it similar to Jonas?
There's pieces, I would say, of Dash a little bit in those characters. And I think that's just because it's a piece of me. I think, I bring myself to all these characters. That's the one way I look at acting. You know what I mean? You have to be authentic in your own body and in creating. But bringing different elements sometimes, kind of establishes this character. Dash is kind of like a down on his luck guy who, just trying to scrape by, making some pennies here and there. He works, he basically works on bottoms of boats and he would do anything to get a break in life. You know what I mean? Hence break even. But he's also a fiery personality. He's a lot of me because that's my energy is high tempo. He has that sort of like in your face, like aggressive sort of like fun guy. So he fills the shoes of that kind of guy in the movie. And I play alongside of an actor, Brett Bailey, who plays Sebastian, Elisa Reyes, who plays my girlfriend in the movie. She plays Rosie, and Tassia Teles from the 100. She plays Jack. And Jack is one of my closest friends. She's one of my best friends in the movie. So we're playing, she's a close friend of mine. Rosie's my girlfriend, and Sebastian's kind of like the outsider, but newcomer who has like an interest with Jack. So it's 4 friends that end up going on a day sailing trip. Me and Brent's character, Sebastian, go for a dive. We heard that there might be a treasure below, hence drugs or money, something of the sort. We end up coming about some money of an amount of $50 million.
Wow.
Yes. So now, without giving too much away, basically we find this abundance of cash. What do we do with it? We got to get it clean because it can't be clean. It can't be clean money. So we're being chased throughout the film by the corrupt DEA and the drug lord. But there's a tie-in with all of that to a particular situation in the film that I can't give away. And it's in the vein of like, a milder Fast and Furious meets like Into the Blue with a twist of like Fool's Gold or Gone in 60 Seconds. It kind of has that fast-paced tempo, sexy girls, handsome guys, heist movie. We're hopping from yacht to this, to that, stealing things. It's crazy. But it's fun. It's a lot of fun. If you want a fun, fast-paced film, modern day, sort of original sort of piece, Break Even's for you.
Awesome. So before we wrap the interview up, we got to talk about social media platforms. So I know you're huge on Instagram, but what other platforms like Facebook or Twitter or YouTube or TikTok are on these days?
Facebook, I'm on. Anything that's with the verified little check mark, that's me. I do have a personal page on Facebook as well, but you have to be careful. There's a few that are imposters, and I'm not sure who they are. So, but the one with the check mark on Facebook, Erik Fellows, ERIK, Fellows, FELLOWS, that's me. Twitter, one with verified, at Erik Fellows, that's me. And Instagram is ERIK, Fellows, FELLOWS, official. Erik Fellows, official. That is my Instagram. That's my Instagram name. So
I'll make sure to follow you over that. But like,
I'm on Cameo. If anyone wants me to send them a message or sing a song, I'm not a great singer, but I can do it. I can sing some songs for you. Holiday songs.
I love Cameo. I
literally just got on it. I've done a few of them from good like fan friends that I consider fan friends that are awesome. So I just got on it, so I'm learning it.
It's a great platform to be on.
It's super awesome. I mean, people very grateful for them, and I'm grateful for them in requesting me. So if anybody wants that, let me know. I'll do a cartwheel.
All right. That'd be awesome.
I know. Maybe when I was younger, I could possibly hurt myself. We don't know.
And we do not want that to happen.
No, we're gonna be careful these days. Be careful.
All right. So one of my second to last questions is, if you had the opportunity to meet with actors who want to advance their careers in the industry, what advice would you share with them?
One would be, is this honestly, truthfully your passion? Like, is this honestly 150% your passion? Because I didn't know it was my passion. It took me years to figure out it was my passion. But once I did, I put so much effort into this. What is your actual goals out of it? Like, what do you want from it? If you're doing it to be famous, don't do it. You can't work to be famous. Fame is something that comes and goes, and it's sporadic. And sometimes if you live for just fame, you lose like the authenticity of who you are and to what it even brings you. Like, this fame is just kind of like a figment of your imagination, it's a fantasy. You want to do it because you enjoy it and you get respect for your craft. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to put out the energy of like, oh, I just want this for money and fame, because it will come crashing down. I promise you. I've watched it with many people. Doesn't mean you can't have fame. Doesn't mean you can't be rich or successful. It just means do it because it's in your heart and that you care about who you are as a person, because it's easily to be taken away. So you have to figure out if that's really what you want. And it's like, to make people laugh, make people cry, whatever, feel emotions, that's what we do this for. But you want to make an imprint on your life and imprint on them to even realize why they even want to watch you in the first place. So number one thing is if it's something that you truthfully want to do for the right reasons.
Awesome. So where can my audience find your work? Because I know you mentioned social media, but where can they see some of your work, like Break Even or The Bay or some?
All the platforms, Amazon, iTunes, Google Play, Vudu. I mean, there's so many platforms out there. So pretty much every single platform, Roku, or anything like that, Amazon, they'll have all the different apps for it. My show Purgatory, that's out now, Purgatory series. I forgot to get into that. I have a really cool, very edgy show that's out now called Purgatory. I play the role of Bobby. Very bad, edgy character. That's not me in real life, I promise you. But he is a really interesting character. Purgatory season 1 is on Popstar TV. And that's, if you have any sort of Apple products, Apple TV, anything like that, you can find it. You can pretty much find it most places. The Bay, the series, the Amazon Prime show, also on Popstar TV. Any of my past films, Amazon, iTunes, Google Play. Break Even on every single platform except Netflix, because that is a separate deal. Netflix does their own deals, but it's on VOD on all cable providers. It's also on DVD. The box cover is super dope, so maybe buy a DVD. I know we thought DVDs don't exist anymore, but they do. So all platforms pretty much. And also, if you want your Break Even cup.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. A friend of my fiance made this for my screening premiere we had for it, and it's got like the characters' names. Let me show it. Jack for Tassia Teles, Rosie for Lisa Reyes. Oh no, that's Sebastian, Brent Bailey, and then Rosie, Elisa Reyes, and then where's he? Dash.
That's very cool, guys. Just to let you guys know, the Erik show, for those listening on the audio edition, Erik just showcased those cups for that. It's really cool. And where can I find those cups?
Well, you could DM me on Instagram, and then I'll put you in contact with the woman who makes them. I know she's got a pretty decent price for them, but I have a lot of requests for them, so I'm just trying to shove it in her direction, because she is the one who made this happen. I couldn't make this, so I'm very grateful to have one. Neither
can I. I'm not that talented in arts. However, what I am talented is incredible conversation. So guys, to download more episodes of the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar podcast, head to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Spreaker. Just type in Jake's Take, and then here's the key part. Jacob Elyachar, Jacobelyachar. Once again, Jacob Elyachar, Jacobelyachar. 2020 was a phenomenal year. I've had so many people on the podcast. America's Got Talent winner Brandon Leake, America's Got Talent finalist Christina Ray, AGT icons such as Vicky Barbalak, Prince Poppycock, The Voices of Service, Big Brother icons such as Rachel Riley and Jody Rollins, not to mention Katharine Dunn, who also is the host of Conspiring Away Bitches podcast. And we also had Survivor icons, Rob Cesternino and Ethan Zahn. So it was a big year. And I think with your help, Eric, 2021 is going to be a huge year for the podcast. So go there. And also, I'm also on social media.
For you, man. Good vibes.
Thank you so much, Eric. And also, I'm also on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Just type in Jacob Elyachar, Jacobelyachar. And then finally, to read more of my articles, including my coverage of America's Got Talent, The Masked Singer, The Masked Dancer, all of my previous interviews, and even reviews on music, head to jakes-take.com. It is celebrating 10 years in August, and we cannot wait to enter a second decade with you. And Eric, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to talk with me today. I really appreciate it. You are awesome, and I pray that our paths cross again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, buddy. It's been great.
All righty, guys. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to watch and to listen to our conversation. Until next time, have a great one. Bye.